In Kannada Kanoonu, the most scoring units are first unit, fourth unit, and fifth unit. I will be taking first unit totally, and in the third unit, I will take Kannada Kanunina Prachinte, Kannada Bhasha Prachinte, and I will cover some letters. Try to cover some letters. The first unit, it has totally 6 concepts. It talks about historical aspects of Karnataka. The unit starts with basic introduction of Karnataka. It says that Karnataka ಭಾರತದ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು. That is, Karnataka is one of the major states of India. In 1956 November 1ರಂದು ಮೈಸೂರು ರಾಜ್ಯವೆಂದು ಹೆಸರಾಗಿ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಘೋಷಿಸಲಾಯಿತು. In 1956 November 1, the Karnataka was named as Mysore state. It was first called as Mysore state. In 1973, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕವೆಂದು ಮರುನಾಮಕರಣ ಮಾಡಲಾಯಿತು. It was named as Karnataka in 1973. Bangalore is Karnataka's capital city, Rajdhani, and Karnataka has 13 ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳು districts, and Kannada is ಅಧಿಕೃತ ಭಾಷೆ. The main language is Kannada. ತುಳು, ಕೊಡವ, ಕೊಂಕಣಿ, ಬ್ಯಾರಿ ಮುಂತಾದ ಉಪಭಾಷೆಗಳು. ಸೊ 3 ಬಗೆಯ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳು ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ: ಕರಾವಳಿ ಎಂಬ ಸಮುದ್ರ ತೀರ, ಮಲೆನಾಡು ಎಂಬ ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಘಟ್ಟದ ಪ್ರದೇಶ, and ಸಮತಟ್ಟಾದ ಬಯಲು ಸೀಮೆ. The introduction part also talks about ನದಿಗಳು, rivers in Karnataka: ಕೃಷ್ಣ, ಭೀಮ, ಘಟಪ್ರಭಾ, ವೇದವತಿ, ಮಲಪ್ರಭಾ, ತುಂಗಭದ್ರಾ, ಕಾವೇರಿ, ಹೇಮಾವತಿ, ಶರಾವತಿ, ಶೀರ್ಷ, ಅರ್ಕಾವತಿ, ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಣ ತೀರ್ಥ, and ಕಬ್ಬಿನಿ. It talks about the crops in Karnataka: ಬೆಳೆಗಳು, ಭತ್ತ, ಕಬ್ಬು, ರಾಗಿ, ಜೋಳ, ಎಣ್ಣೆಕಾಳುಗಳು, and ಕೃಷಿ ಹತ್ತಿ. ಕೃಷಿ ಸಂಬಂಧಿ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳು, agricultural aspects in Karnataka: ಹಣ್ಣು, fruits, ತರಕಾರಿಗಳು, vegetables, and ಹೈನುಗಾರಿಕೆ, dairy products. This is a basic introduction in the chapter. The first concept in this unit is ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ, history of Karnataka. It talks about rulers that ruled Karnataka from the very beginning. So there are many rulers. It talks about from Chakravarti Ashoka to independence, the rulers who ruled Karnataka up to the independence. The first is in Murne Shatmana, that is 3rd century, 300 BC. In Murne Shatmana, the first ruler was Chakravarti Ashoka, who ruled Karnataka. His Samarajya dynasty was called Maurya Samrajya, and he ruled 400 Varsha to 400 years. The next ruler who came to Karnataka, who ruled Karnataka, was in 4th century, Nakne Shatmana. Samrajya was called Kadambaru, and these Kadambaru were first Kannadiga rulers. So the first Kannadiga rulers that entered Karnataka were in 4th century. The main king, ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಿದವರು ಅರಸ, was Mayur Sharma, was their main king. And Rajdhani, they made Banavasi as their main capital city. During the 4th century, there was this other Samrajya dynasty called Gangaru. Placed Dakshina Karnataka, they ruled in Dakshina Karnataka in 4th century along with Kadambaru. Their Rajdhani was Kolar. The next king was a Chalukya who entered India. The next dynasty was Chalukya dynasty. They ruled almost 250 years in Karnataka. Their famous king was Pulikesha. Their Rajdhani was Badami. And their Prasiddha Shilpagalu, sculptures, were Badami Pattadakallu, Aihole, Mahakuta. And they received a title called Karnataka Balam Ajayam, which means ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ ಸೈನ್ಯವನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಗೆಲ್ಲಲಾಗುವುದು ಎಂಬ ಗಾದೆ ಹಬ್ಬಿತ್ತು. So in ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ, you have to write all the years, the year that dynasty was established, the century, the dynasty name, the ruler name, and their famous sculptures. If you write all that, you will get 10 marks. There are many rulers that we have mentioned. The next Samraja was Rashtrukutaru. ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧ ದೊರೆ was ಮುರ್ನೆ ಗೋವಿಂದ, and ಶಿಲ್ಪಗರು ಎಲ್ಲರದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಕಲ್ಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕತ್ತಿಸಿರುವ ಕೈಲಾಸನಾಥ್ ದೇವಾಲಯ. I know his son ಮುರ್ನೆ ಗೋವಿಂದನ ಮಗ ಅಮೋಘ ವರ್ಷ ಸುಪತುಂಗ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕವಿ. This guy ಅಮೋಘ ವರ್ಷ ಸುಪತುಂಗ was the first Kannada poet. He was the son of Murne Govindar Maga in Chalukya dynasty. He was defeated in the Rashtrakuta dynasty. Yeah. But these Rashtrukutaru, they were defeated by Chalukya, and they were further ruled by Chalukyas. The next dynasty was a Hoysala dynasty, Samrajya Hoysala. The famous king was Vishnuvardhana. Their famous sculptures, Shilpagalu, were Belur, Halebedu, Somanathpur. ವಿಶೇಷತೆ ದೇವರ ಜೈನ ವೈಷ್ಣವ ಹಾಗೂ ಶೈವ ಮತಗಳ ನಡುವಿನ ಸಾಮರಸ್ಯ. ವಿಷ್ಣುವರ್ಧನ್ wife, the king's wife, was a famous dancer. The next dynasty was formed in 13ನೇ ಶತಮಾನ, that's 13th century. ಉತ್ತರದಿಂದ ಬಂದ ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದಿಯರು ದಾಳಿಯ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಭಾರತದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಡೆಯಿತು. So this is when the Muslims entered India, the Muslim rulers from north. ಸನಾತನ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಲು ಹಕ್ಕುಬಕ್ಕಂಬ ಸೋದರರು ವಿಜಯನಗರ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಿದರು. So when the Muslim rulers attacked Karnataka, there was need to preserve the Sanatana Dharma in Karnataka, the Karnataka culture. So this ಹಕ್ಕುಬಕ್ಕಂಬ ಸೋದರರು established the Vijayanagara Samrajya. Samrajya Vijayanagara, established by ಹಕ್ಕುಬಕ್ಕಂಬ ಸೋದರರು. ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧ ದೊರೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ದೇವರಾಯ, their famous king was Krishna Devaraya. Along with Vijayanagara, ವಿಜಯನಗರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ಬೆಳೆದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯ. Along with Vijayanagara, there was this other dynasty that was established. It was called ಬಹುಮನಿ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯ. ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಿದವರು ಹಸನಗಂಗು. ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧ ದೊರೆ ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಗವಾನ್. ದೇರ್ ಫೇಮಸ್ ಸ್ಕಲ್ಪ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಬೀದರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮದರ್ಸಾ ಎಂಬ ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಮತ್ತು ಬೃಹತ್ ಗ್ರಂಥಾಲಯ ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಿದರು. The next dynasty was ಐದು ಶಾಹಿ ಮನೆತನಗಳ. They were called ಐದು ಶಾಹೀಸ್. Their dynasty was called ಐದು ಶಾಹಿ. 15ನೇ ಮತ್ತು 16ನೇ ಶತಮಾನ. They came under 15th century to 16th century. ಅರಸರು who were these five ಶಾಹೀಸ್: ಬಿಜಾಪುರದ ಆದಿಲ್ ಶಾಹಿ, ಬೀದರ್ನ ಇಮದ್ ಶಾಹಿ, ಅಹಮದ್ನಗರದ ನಿಜಾಮ್ ಶಾಹಿ ಮತ್ತು ಗೋಲ್ಕೊಂಡದ ಕುತುಬ್ ಶಾಹಿಗಳು. ಇವರು ವಿಜಯನಗರದ ಅರಸನಾದ ರಾಮರಾಯ ಅವರನ್ನು ಸೋಲಿಸಿದರು. ವಿಜಯನಗರ ಹಾಳು ಹಂಪಿಯಾಯಿತು. They destroyed the Vijayanagara empire and it is now called as Hampi, the destroyed city. Their famous sculptures were Bijapurda Ibrahim Roza, Gol Gummad and Muntadav. There were many sculptures. They were built by these five shahis. The next Samraja that came to India, the next dynasty was Vadiyar dynasty. The famous king Prasiddha Arasaru was Raja Vadiyar, Ranadhira Karariva Narasaraj Vadiyar, Chikkadevaraja Vadiyar, Mummadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar, Chamaraja Vadiyar, Salvadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar. ಮಧ್ಯ ಕೆಳಕಲ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಿದ ಹೈದರಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಹೋರಾಡಿದರು. So this Tipu Sultan during this Vadiyar dynasty fought against Britishers. ದಕ್ಷ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು, it talks about the ದಕ್ಷ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು. In this unit, freedom fighters are mentioned, certain ಕಿತ್ತೂರು ರಾಣಿ ಚೆನ್ನಮ್ಮ, ಸಂಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ರಾಯಣ್ಣ, etc. So in 19th ಶತಮಾನ, the 19th century, ಕರ್ನಾಡು ಸದಾಶಿವರಾಯ, ಆಲೂರು ವೆಂಕಟರಾಯರು, ಎಸ್ ಎ ನಿಜಲಿಂಗಪ್ಪ, ಮೈಗಲ ಮಹದೇವ ಈ ಪಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆದರು. ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ನಂತರ ಮೈಸೂರು ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನವು ಭಾರತ ಗಣರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಲೀನವಾಯಿತು. So after independence, the Karnataka was stated Mysore state. This is the historical aspect of Karnataka. The first main concept, it is the lengthiest concept in this unit. It talks about kings, their dynasties and their famous sculptures, etc. So the next topic is Hanakasu Uddime. Hanakasu means finance and Uddime means business. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕವು ದೇಶದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮುಂದುವರೆದ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಾಗಿದೆ. So Arthik means economic. So Karnataka is one of the economically established state. It says 2013-14 ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಸಿದ ಒಂದು ಸಮೀಕ್ಷೆಯ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇವಲ 1.8% ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿರುದ್ಯೋಗ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇದೆ. In 2013-14 there was a survey that concluded that only 1.8% of the population of Karnataka was unemployed. ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಸುಮಾರು ಅರ್ಧರಷ್ಟು ಜನರು ಕೃಷಿ ಉದ್ಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿವೆ. In Karnataka, half of the population is in agriculture. ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಶೇಕಡಾ 64 ರಷ್ಟು ಭಾಗವನ್ನು ಕೃಷಿಗಾಗಿ ಬಳಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. 64% of the Karnataka's land is used for agriculture aspects. ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ಉದ್ಯಮಿಗಳು. So what are the ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ಉದ್ಯಮಿಗಳು? HAL, NAL, BHEL, BEL and HMT. You can write these words in English because in textbook they are mentioned in English. ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂಶೋಧನಾ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು. So what are the ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂಶೋಧನಾ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು established in Karnataka? ISRO, CPRI, BEL, CFTRI, MRPL, BEML, DRDO. And Wipro, Infosys ಮುಂತಾದ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಕಚೇರಿಗಳು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿವೆ. The head office of Wipro and Infosys is in Bangalore. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರನ್ನು ಮುಖ್ಯ ವ್ಯವಹಾರಕ ಕೇಂದ್ರ head office ಮಾಡಿರುವ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು. The companies that made Bangalore as their head office, the international and national companies are TCS, IBM, Microsoft, Oracle and GE. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಭಾರತದ ಸಿಲಿಕಾನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿ ಎನಿಸಿದೆ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು is called as Silicon Valley of India. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮತ್ತು ಸುತ್ತ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 16 ಜೀವತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ means biotechnology ಪ್ರಯೋಗಗಳು ಹೂ ಅಲಂಕಾರ ಸಸ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ರಫ್ತು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿವೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ದ ಬಯೋಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. ದ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್. ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳು. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ? ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಕೆನರಾ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಜಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ತಮ್ಮ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ಮೊದಲ ಕಂಡುಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಯೇ. ಖನಿಜಗಳು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿನರಲ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಆರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. ಮೊದಲ ಸ್ಥಾನ ಚಿನ್ನ, ಮ್ಯಾಂಗ್ನೀಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸುಣ್ಣದ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳು. ಎರಡನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನ ಬೆಳ್ಳಿ. ಮೂರನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನ ಕಬ್ಬು ಮತ್ತು ಬಾಕ್ಸೈಟ್. So these are the minerals that are found in Karnataka. This is a short topic and could be asked for 6 marks. So there is a like similar topics are given like Shikshana, sports, and similar topics are given, and information is given about that. You have to write usually names of the companies or the related topics. The next topic is Shikshana, education. ಪ್ರಾಚೀನ ಕಾಲದಿಂದಲೂ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. Even during ancient times, Karnataka has given importance to education. ಗುರುಕುಲಗಳು, ಕೂಲಿ ಮಠಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎಳೆಯ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. Even in ancient times, these were institutions like ಗುರುಕುಲಗಳು and ಕೂಲಿ ಮಠಗಳು where the all peoples of all age were getting educations in Karnataka. ಪ್ರಾಚೀನ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಗಳು. The ancient universities that were there in Karnataka were ಗದಗ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ನಾಗಾವಿ, ಬಿಜಾಪುರ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ಸಲೋಡ್ಗಿ, ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ಬಳ್ಳಿಗಾವಿ. These are the 3 most ancient universities of Karnataka, but now they are destroyed. They don't exist in present. ನಾನಾ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಿಣಿತರಾದಂತೆ ಇತಿಹಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಉಲ್ಲೇಖಿತವಾದ ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯಗಳು. The famous ladies of Karnataka. The names are given: Sami Nirmidi, Jikki Sundari, Ketala Devi, Shabdal Devi, etc. These are the famous ladies of Karnataka in education who made the name in education. 9ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರೈಸ್ತ ಮಿಷನರಿಗಳು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಸಹಾಯದಿಂದ ಆಂಗ್ಲ ಮಾದರಿಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಆರಂಭಿಸಿದರು. In 19th century, the Christian missionaries entered Karnataka, and with the help of the government, they established their schools in Karnataka in 19th century. 1916 ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಭಾರತದ ಮೊದಲ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. The first ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ, International University of Karnataka, is ಮೈಸೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಗಳು ಸ್ಥಳಗಳು. The places where present ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ international universities are there. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು, ಗುಲ್ಬರ್ಗಾ, ಧಾರವಾಡ, ಮೈಸೂರು, ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗ, ಮಂಗಳೂರು, and etc. names are given. ದೂರ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಮೂಲಕ ಕಲಿಬಹುದಾದ ವಿಷಯಗಳು. So the concept that can be learned in India, the education that can be obtained in India: ತಾಂತ್ರಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ, ವೈದ್ಯಕೀಯ ಸಂಶೋಧನಾ, ಜಾನಪದ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ, ಕಾನೂನು, ಸಂಗೀತ, ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ಮಹಿಳಾ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ, ಕೃಷಿ, ತೋಟಗಾರಿಕೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣಾಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ. These are the things you can learn in Karnataka universities. ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಮತ್ತು ವೇದಿಕ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಸ್ಥಳಗಳು: ಉಡುಪಿ, ಶೃಂಗೇರಿ, ಗೋಕರ್ಣ, ಮೇಲುಕೋಟೆ. ಅತ್ಯುನ್ನತ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು. The institutions provide extraordinary education is what it says: Indian Institute of Science, Indian Institute of Management, Indian Institute of Technology, Indian National School of India, Law School of India, ರಾಮನ್ ಸಂಶೋಧನಾ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ. National Institute of Advanced Studies. ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು: the famous scientists of Karnataka, U.R. Rao, ರಾಜಾರಾಮಣ್ಣ, and C.N.R. Rao. ನಾಡಿನಾದ್ಯಂತ 15+ ಖಾಸಗಿ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಗಳು ಇದೆ. There are 15+ international universities in Karnataka, or national universities. The next concept is ಕ್ರೀಡೆ. ಕ್ರೀಡೆ means sports. ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. In schools in schools, students are motivated for sports. ತಾಲೂಕು ಮತ್ತು ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಕೇಂದ್ರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಾಂಗಣ ಮತ್ತು ಒಳಾಂಗಣ ಕ್ರೀಡಾಂಗಣಗಳು, ಈಜುಕೊಳಗಳನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಿಸಲಾಗಿದೆ. In taluk level, the outdoor sports, indoor sports, grounds for indoor sports, and swimming pools have been established in every taluk level in Karnataka. ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಕ್ರೀಡಾ ಶಾಲೆಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಕ್ರೀಡಾವಸತಿ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತರುಣ ಕ್ರೀಡಾಪಟುಗಳು ತರಬೇತಿಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಕ್ರೀಡಾಪಟುಗಳು means sports persons. So in different schools of sports schools of Karnataka, the sports persons are given training. Those have potential. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಅನೇಕ ಮಂದಿ ಕ್ರೀಡಾಪಟುಗಳು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕ್ರೀಡಾಕೂಟಗಳನ್ನು ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿ ಬಹುಮಾನಗಳನ್ನು ಗಳಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. The sportsperson of Karnataka have taken even national level and international level awards. Athletics: Rita Ibrahim, Kanit Pavel, Varadana Rao, Ashwini Nachappa are the athletics from Karnataka. Cricket: the famous cricket personalities from Karnataka: EAS Prasanna, GR Vishwanath, Javgal Srinath, Anil Kumble, Rahul Dravid, and Venkatesh Prasad. Badminton from Karnataka, sportsperson Prakash Padukone. Snooker from Karnataka, Pankaj Advani. Judo from Karnataka, MN Triveni. Cycling from Karnataka, Premlata Sureban. So mostly names are given. You have to remember mainly the most main topics like underlined topics and the names under it. The next concept is Sanskriti, which means culture. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕ ಪರಂಪರೆಯು ಶ್ರೀಮಂತವೂ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯಪೂರ್ಣವೂ ಆಗಿದೆ. Synopsis: what this contains. Under Sanskriti, Karnataka Sanskriti, there is Janpada Gite, Sangeeta, Shilpakale, Varnachantra means painting, Nritya means dance, and Rangbhumi means film industry. Vritya and Havyasi are the two types of movies that are established in Karnataka. So about Janpada Gite, first we will have to see. The synopsis is main important. Under synopsis, there are names which you can remember as much as you can possible. ಜಾನಪದ ಗೀತೆ: ಗ್ರಾಮಾಂತರ ಪ್ರದೇಶದ ಜನದ ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಜಾನಪದ ಗೀತೆಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದೆ. The feelings of villagers are given as ಜಾನಪದ ಗೀತೆ. They write it as ಜಾನಪದ ಗೀತೆ is what it says. ಯಕ್ಷಗಾನ, ನಗಾರಾಧನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಭೂತದ ಕೋಲಗಳು ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಜನಪದ ಗೀತೆಗಳು. There are certain proud ಜನಪದ ಗೀತೆಗಳು: ಯಕ್ಷಗಾನ, ನಗಾರಾಧನ ಮತ್ತು ಭೂತದ ಕೋಲಗಳು. ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪರಿಜಾತವು ಉತ್ತರ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪ್ರಚಲಿತ. This is famous in North Karnataka, this ಜಾನಪದ ಗೀತೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪರಿಜಾತವು. ಇಂದಿಗೂ ಚಾಲ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಜಾನಪದ ಗೀತೆ. The ಜಾನಪದ songs which are even ring in present. ಜಗಲಿಗೆ ಮೋಳ, ಕರಡಿ ಮೊಜಲು, ಸುಗ್ಗಿ ಕುಣಿತ, ಮೀರಗಾಸೆ, ಸೋಮನ ಕುಣಿತ, ಹುತ್ತರಿ ಬೋಲಕಾಟ. The next topic, ಸಂಗೀತ in ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ. ಪುರಂದರದಾಸರನ್ನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಸಂಗೀತ ಪಿತಾಮಹವೆಂದು ಗೌರವಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಹಿರಿಯ ಸಂಗೀತಗಾರರು. There are names given: ವೀಣೆ ಶೇಷಣ್ಣ, ಬಿಡಾರಾಮ್, ಕೃಷ್ಣಪ್ಪ, etc. ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನಿ ಸಂಗೀತ ದಿಗ್ಗಜರು. Famous personalities are from Karnataka in India. ಭೀಮಸೇನ ಜೋಶಿ, ಗುಗುಂಬಾಯಿ ಧನಗಲ್ names are given. Next, ಶಿಲ್ಪಗಳು. The famous sculptures in India. ಶ್ರವಣ ಬೆಳಗೊಳ ಗೊಮ್ಮಟ ಶಿಲ್ಪ, ಬಾದಾಮಿ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲೂರುಗಳು, ಗ್ರಹಾಲಯಗಳು, ಪಟ್ಟಡಕಲ್ಲು, etc. Names are given of famous sculptures. The next is ವರ್ಣಚಿತ್ರ ಕಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಸರು ಮಾಡಿದವರು. Famous painters in Karnataka: K. Venkatappa, Y. Subramanya Raja, S.S. Swami, etc. ನೃತ್ಯ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧರಾಗಿರುವರು. Famous dancers from Karnataka: K. Venkatalakshmana, U.S. Krishnaraya, etc. Karnataka Rangbhumi famous in Vritya and Havyasi. So there are two major film industrial aspects of Vritya and Havyasi types that are present in Karnataka. Vritya Rangbhumiಯನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸಿದವರು. Who established Vritya Rangbhumi in Karnataka? Vardachara, Gubi Miranna, Muhammad Pir, etc. names are given. Havyasi Rangbhumiಯನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸಿದವರು. The persons who established Havyasi Rangbhumi in Karnataka. Names are given. ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರು, directors from Karnataka: ಪುಟ್ಟಣ್ಣ ಕಣಗಾಲ, ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಕರ್ನಾಡ, etc. ಬೆಳ್ಳಿತೆರೆಯ ಸಿಲ್ವರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂಚಿದವರು: ರಾಜ್ಕುಮಾರ್, ವಿಷ್ಣುವರ್ಧನ, ಅನಂತನಾಗ, etc. Names are given. The next concept in this unit is Dharma, religion. Religions in Karnataka. So synopsis: there is Bauddha Dharma, Jaina Dharma, Lingayat Dharma, Islam, and Christ Dharma. The first, Islam, Bauddha Dharma. ಕ್ರೈಸ್ತ ಶಕದ ಆರಂಭದ ವೇಳೆಗೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೌದ್ಧ ಧರ್ಮ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು. Even before the Christian religion, there was a Buddhism in Karnataka already there. ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧ ಬೌದ್ಧ ಕೇಂದ್ರಗಳು. The places where there were Buddhist religion: ಗುಲ್ಬರ್ಗ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ಸನ್ನತಿ, ಉತ್ತರ ಕನ್ನಡ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ವನವಾಸಿ, ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಬಳಿಯ ಕದ್ರಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಜೈನ ಧರ್ಮ. ನಂತರ ಜೈನ ಧರ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಲಿಟ್ಟಿತು. After the Buddhism, the next religion entered in Karnataka was Jain Dharma. ಗಂಗಾ, ಚಾಲುಕ್ಯ, ಕದಂಬ, ಹೊಯ್ಸಳ ರಾಜವಂಶಗಳು ನೀಡಿದವು. ವೈದಿಕ ಪರಂಪರೆ 3 ಮುಖ್ಯ ಕವಲುಗಳು: ಅದ್ವೈತ, ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟದ್ವೈತ ಮತ್ತು ದ್ವೈತಿಗಳಿಗೆ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕವೇ Avasthana. The next religion was Lingayat that entered Karnataka. After Jain Dharma, the next religion was Lingayat Dharma. ವೀರಶೈವ ಅಥವಾ ಲಿಂಗಾಯತ ಧರ್ಮವು ವಿಶ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಕೊಡುಗೆಯಾಯಿತು. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಗೇವ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಲಿಂಗಾಯತ್ ರಿಲಿಜನ್. ಬಸವಣ್ಣ, ಅಲ್ಲಮಪ್ರಭು, ಅಕ್ಕಮಹಾದೇವಿ, ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮ ಸಮಾಜದ ಮೊಲಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ರಚನೆಯ ಮೂಲಕ ತಿದ್ದಿದರು. ಸೊ ದೇ ರಿಮೂವ್ ದ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಿಂಗಾಯತ್ ಧರ್ಮ, ದಿಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಶ್ರೀಪಾದರಾಜ, ಪುರಂದರ ದಾಸ್, ಕನಕದಾಸ್ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಿದರು. ಬಹುಮನಿ ಅರಸರು ಇಸ್ಲಾಂ ಧರ್ಮವನ್ನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಲೆ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದರು. ದ ಮುಘಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ರೂಲರ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ನಾರ್ತ್, ಬಹುಮನಿ ಅರಸರು ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ಲಾಂ ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಆರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. 16ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದ ವೇಳೆ ಕ್ರೈಸ್ತ ಧರ್ಮವು ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಲಿಟ್ಟಿತು. ಸೊ ಕ್ರಿಶ್ಚಿಯಾನಿಟಿ ಎಂಟರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಇನ್ 16th century. ಹಿಂದೂ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ಧರ್ಮಗಳೆರಡರ ಸಂಗಮವಾದ ಸೂಫಿ ಪಂಥವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧವಾಗಿದೆ. ದೆನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕವಿ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರು ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯಿಂದ ಹೇಳಿದಂತೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕವು ಸಾರ್ವ ಜನಾಂಗದ ಶಾಂತಿಯ ತೋಟ, ಹಿಂದೂ ಕ್ರೈಸ್ತ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನ ಜೈನ ಪಾರಸಿಕರ ಉದ್ಯಾನ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್. It basically contains names. You have to remember names mostly. The next important concept, the most important concept in third unit is Kannada Bhashaya Prachinte. It is fixed question compulsorily for 10 marks. It has been asked every time. This concept was present in previous syllabus also, and it has been asked every time in previous syllabus. Kannada Bhashaya Prachinte. So the history of Karnataka language, Kannada language. History of Kannada tried to find by many scholars. Vidwansaru, scholars are called Vidwansaru. So many scholars try to find the history of Kannada in India. The present is Murne Shatmana. The present proof we have is the Kannada language came to India was established in 3rd century. Proofs. Certain proofs are given to prove that that Karnataka was there in 3rd century. The first proof is Maurya Samaja Ashoka Kala. During the Ashok Kal. So this Kripu means BC, before Christ, and Krisha means AD, Anno Domini. So during Kripu Murne Shatmana in Ashok Kal, Shila Sashanagalu inscriptions were there Halvedagalali in many places Dorikive. So during this Samraja Ashoka, in 3rd century, there were a lot of inscriptions engraved in many places. There was this word called Isila. According to D.L. Narasimhachara, oldest Kannada word. So this Isila is the oldest Kannada word. Isila means Kotinda Amrutavada Nagara, fortress enclosed. Kotinda means fortress and Amrutavada enclosed. So this was the name of a city, Isila, during Ashoka Samraja, and this is the oldest Kannada word as of now, Isila. The next proof that is given is famous as Karnataka and Karnataka in Prachan Kal. So Karnataka, even in ancient period, it was famous as the name Karnataka or Karnataka in ancient times. Writer Shudraka Nataka Mrucha Katida, time 1 minute includes the Karnataka word. So this writer Shudraka, in his drama Nataka Mrucha Katika, during 1 BC to 1 AD, he included the term word Karnataka in his drama in 1 BC to 1 AD. The next proof we have is during 3 BC to 3 AD, we have Mahabharata and Bhishma Parvagala. In this, the Kannadigas were called as a Karnatakara. Even in Mahabharata and Bhishma Parvagalali, Kannada words are mentioned. The Kannadigas were referred as Karnatakara in these books. The next is during 1 AD, in Srimad Ramayana, the word Mahishaka indicates Mysore. So even in this, the word Mahishaka was there, which was referred to as Mysore. During 200 AD, Kavi Shilappa Digarama, famous Tamil poet, called Kannadigas as Karunadaru. The next is during 200 BC to 100 AD, rulers of Shatavahanaru in Karnataka. So these were the first Karnataka rulers that we have as of now in history. Shatavahanaru record. Word Vilivayakura in their coins. So these people, Shatavahanaru in the dynasty, they had coins. Coins is called Nana in Karnataka. So they printed certain words called Vilya Vayakaru. This word Vilya Vayakura in 200 BC to 100 AD. The Vili via Kura, it means Vili via Kudure plus Kura, Pattana. So according to scholars, this is Kannada word. In 1899, Greece found papers of a drama of 200 BC. So in 1899, present 1899, in Greece there was papers of drama, ancient papers of a drama was found of the papers were of 200 BC old. In that the word Minde and Kuse was written. So according to Rashtrakavi Govinda Pairavaru, he identified those words as Kannada words. The next time 100 AD, King Hala, he wrote this book called Gada Saptashati. The words he contained in in his book was Atta, which means Atte, Tuppa Ghruta, Potta means hotte, Falahi means hatti. These are all Kannada words according to the Rashtrakavi Govinda Prayurava in 100 AD. In next time 140 BC, the German king Ptolemy, he wrote a book called Bhugola Shastra. He took these words from real-time travelers who traveled to Karnataka, and he wrote down 10 cities names, which are present cities of Karnataka, from Bhimanidhi to Banavasi. In 140 BC, he wrote this. The city names were Nagaroris, which is present Nagnur. The next city is Tobaso, which is presently called as Tavasi. The next is Inde, which is now Indi. Tiri Pangalida, which is the Gadahingalaja. Then Hippokora, Huvina Hipparagi. Sobotus, which means Savdi. Srimalaga, Chimmalagi. Kalagiri is Kalakeri. Bodugala, Mudgal. Patirgala, Hattiki Hala. He wrote this all the city names in 140 BC. The next is in 450 AD. Shasana Halmidi is the oldest Kannada Shasana. It is of scholars' opinion that Karnataka geometrically developed in 300 to 400 AD. So scholars use that during 300 to 400 AD, Kannada was properly grammatically established. In 900 AD, Kaviraja Marga Kriti was written. So this Kannada Kriti was written in 900 AD. And hence it is concluded that Kannada is of 2000 years old. So the conclusion is that Kannada is the language which is 2000 years old. You have to write all this. The next is fourth unit. I will try to cover at least 4 letters. It has 11 letters in total. First is Malika ಮತ್ತು ನೌಕರರ ನಡುವಿನ ಕರಾರು ಪತ್ರ. See, it has given example letters in textbook itself. I don't know if you have to write that example itself or you can write your own example. Malika ಮತ್ತು ನೌಕರರ ನಡುವಿನ ಕರಾರು ಪತ್ರ. Reason why we have to write letters. What is the reason behind writing this letter? ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಕುರಿತಾದ ಪತ್ರ for employment. So this is the letter that is offered by employer to employee for his employment. The employee signs this letter before entering his employment. ಮಾಲೀಕ ಮತ್ತು ನೌಕರರ ನಡುವಿನ ಕರಾರು ಪತ್ರ. ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಷರತ್ತುಗಳು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಕಾರ್ಯನೀತಿಯ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. So yeah, the letter contains the letter conditions are according to the company rules. ನೌಕರ ತನ್ನ ಷರತ್ತುಗಳನ್ನು ಸೇರು ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. So the employee who is signing this letter does not have any freedom to add his own conditions. The conditions are decided by employer himself, only by employer. Contents. What does this letter contain? ನೇಮಕಾತಿಯ ಷರತ್ತುಗಳು appointment conditions. ನೌಕರನ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಗಳು workman responsibilities. ಕೆಲಸದ ಸಮಯ working time and hours. ವೇತನ salary. ಇತರ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳು extra allowances. ಯಾವಾಗ ನೌಕರಿಯಿಂದ ತೆಗೆಯಬಹುದು suspending reason. ನೌಕರ ಕೆಲಸ ಬಿಡುವಾಗ ನೀಡುವ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಸಿಗ್ನೇಷನ್. ನೌಕರನಿಗೆ ವಜಾಗೊಳಿಸಿದಾಗ ಸೇರುವ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳು allowances after dismissal to workmen. These are the contents that should be contained in this letter. So ಮಾದರಿ example ಮಾಲೀಕ ಮತ್ತು ನೌಕರ ನಡುವಿನ ಕರಾರು ಪತ್ರ. Example is given in textbook itself. So this is how you have to write this letter. First you have to draw a box. Company name you have to write, address, city name with pin code, and in right side you have to draw the logo of the company. Then down you have to write date, a line gap. Then this is the heading of the letter, ನೇಮಕಾತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಕರಾರು ಪತ್ರ. Then a line gap, Priya Shriya Gautam. Then there is a uploading appointment. That is ಸುಕೃತ ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಸಕ್ರಿಯ ನೌಕರಗಳು ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಲು ತಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಆಹ್ವಾನಿಸಲು ನಾವು ಹರ್ಷಿಸುತ್ತೇವೆ. Something like that. You have to upload the appointment in para 1. The next para mentions post ದ್ವಿತೀಯ ದರ್ಜೆ on following conditions. So what is the post? It is mentioned Dvitiya Darja post on following conditions, and the conditions are written. I have written it in English explanation. If you refer the textbook later, then you will understand the Kannada words. So what this letter contains in the textbook: 6 months Tatkalik temporary, Tatkalik salary 15,000. So for 6 months he will be appointed as a temporary person. Tatkalik it is referred. In temporary means Tatkalik. So for 6 months he will be appointed as Tatkalik member, and the Tatkalik salary will be 15,000 rupees. The next part is letter is suspension without notice during Tatkalik period. He could be suspended anytime during the Tatkalik period without any reason or notice. The third point is permanent job after Tatkalik period, can receive all benefits received by same work employees after Tatkalik period. So after the completion of his Tatkalik period of 6 months, he will receive permanent job and same salary as the people in permanent job. The next part is main office city Gurupur can be transferred to any of company's office. So for Tatkalik period, his main office will be Gurupur, and after that he can be transferred to any head office of the company. The next point is 2 months notice before leaving the job. If failed, company will take 2 months salary. So if he is leaving the job, then he will have to provide 2 months notice before leaving. And if he does not provide 2 months notice, then the company will deduct 2 months his salary, 2 months of his salary. Retirement, when he will get retirement, 33 years of service or 60 age, whichever is early. Then rules are given. Follow rules, strict action if rules broken. You will have to write translated Kannada and write. Hide company secrets. Don't do anything that drops company's prestige. So it is written in letter itself. When he sign, he have to agree to all of the conditions. So one of the conditions is hide company secrets. He will have to hide company secrets, and he does not. He will have to not do anything that drops the company's prestige. Once employed, cannot take profitable job in another company. Once he is employed in this company, he cannot take any other jobs. Then a line gap, accept conditions, sign joining date, line gap, etc. This is the first letter. ಮಾಲೀಕ ಮತ್ತು ನೌಕರ ನಡುವಿನ ಕರಾರು ಪತ್ರ. So reason is given, why the reason of writing the letter, then contents of the letter, then example of a letter in textbook itself is given. Similarly, there are totally 11 letters in this unit itself. I think this must be the second youngest unit of this Kannada Kanoonu. The next letter is Badige Kararu Patra. Similar concept is followed: reason, contents, and madari. So reason, why do we write this letter? ಸ್ಥಿರ ಸೊತ್ತು ಕಟ್ಟಡ, immovable property, ಕೃಷಿಯೋತ್ತರ ಭೂಮಿಗಳು, agricultural lands, and ಬಾಡಿಗೆ rent ಕರಾರಿನ ವಸ್ತುವಾಗುತ್ತವೆ, contract objects. So this immovable property, agricultural lands, and rent allowance and rent are the objects of contract. If you are giving someone a home on rent, or agricultural land on rent, or any immovable property on rent, then you have to write this type of letter, ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಕರಾರು ಪತ್ರ. ನಿಗದಿತ ಅವಧಿಗೆ ಕರಾರು. This agreement is for the fixed time. There is a fixed time that should be mentioned in this letter. 11 months ಕಡ್ಡಾಯವಾಗಿ compulsory. At least 11 months should be there mentioned in this letter. ನೋಂದಣಿ ಆಗಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ, registration not needed. ಪಕ್ಷಕಾರರ ವಿವರಗಳು. Similar, the person who is signing the letter cannot impose his conditions. Contents, what does this letter contains? ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಅವಧಿ time, ಷರತ್ತುಗಳು conditions, ಸ್ವತ್ತಿನ ವಿವರಗಳು property details. ಮಾದರಿ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಒಪ್ಪಂದದ ಕರಾರು. So there is a example letter. ದಿನಾಂಕ 2020 line gap, date is written. Then first is the details of ವಂದನೆಯವರು, landowner. The details of the landowner is written in first paragraph. His jilla, details means his jilla, taluku, grama, his father's name, etc. The details of ವಂದನೆಯವರು is the landowner. Then a land gap, ಎರಡನೆಯವರು, tenant. The second person is the tenant. His details are written in textbook, ಎರಡನೆಯವರು. Then there is a land gap. Then action taken by both parties. ಒಂದನೆಯವರು owner ಎರಡನೆಯವರಿಗೆ asking for rent. ಒಂದನೆಯವರು agrees on following conditions. So ಒಂದನೆಯವರು, the landowner is giving the ಎರಡನೆಯವರು, the second person, his house on rent on following conditions. Initiating date 11 months period. The contract will be valid for 11 months period. Second person returns house after lapse of period. So after 11 months, the second person have to return his home of rent. Deposit rupees have to be mentioned compulsory, and no interest on deposit shall be returned by owner. So when the tenant gives deposit to the owner will give the same amount of money without any interest. So there is monthly rent should be mentioned. Payment of rent on next month, find collect receipt. Owner will use property only for reason mentioned above and will not give it on rent to other persons. Tenant cannot repair or extend the house without owner's permission. Condition of home should remain the same when having. No changes should have been made by tenant. So the condition should be same of the house. Electricity bill and water bill paid by the tenant, signed by both parties. On above conditions liable to prosecution if violated. Conditions are bound on representatives. Original the main copy is held by the owner and the duplicate copy is held by the tenant. One in house details. So the format for house details is given in textbook. We can write it. So that's all. I think time is up.